everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host tonight, Steve Malloy, and joining me from an unknown location is Rob Mosley, aka Dolphin Thirsty. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing okay. And that unknown location is a college town where Lewis Oliver, Jarvis played, Jarvis Williams played, Nat Moore played. So Dolphin fans can figure out what town I'm in. That's where they all played their college ball. And Lorenzo Hampton, there's another one that played his college ball at the college town I am.
That name goes
back. Yeah, it does. But anyway, everything's great. Dolphins Thirsty's doing well. Taking a couple of days off from it and my show because I'm up here in that unknown college town in somewhere in the middle of Florida, a little bit north of middle of Florida. So that's a really big hint now. But anyway, how's you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great, Rob. And we'll get into that right after I ask everybody to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, your family, your neighbors. And guys, please, thanks. I appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. We couldn't do this show without you. Both Rob and I feel that way. Rob, tell us what you got going on at DolphinThirsty.com.
Like I said, I would try to keep up everything. Thursday is going to be more updated site. I'm out of town, so a little hard to do stuff. Didn't bring my laptop. I got a lot of stuff going on. So it's going to be all updated, but they can go right now and get trivia stuff. And then I did update through the game, of course, the Buffalo game. I wrote a quick little article, but nothing for the past couple of days. But Thursday, check back on DolphinThirsty.com, and I should have, by later in the day, have some new stuff up there. And maybe some news will come out for all we know.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining, Vito, JM Santos, Evan. I know you're there too. Thanks for joining. Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we are eliminated from the playoffs. Our season is over, finito, done, finished. We lost 34-31. We put up a great fight. Honestly, I was very surprised. I really was. I didn't expect us to make it such a tight and close game, and we just put up a good fight. That's all I can say. Rob, how do you feel about the game?
Yeah, the same as you said. As much as I'm a diehard Dolphin, I did make some predictions that the Dolphins would win a close game, but in my heart, I really thought we were going to, in my brain, my heart, I was saying it was going to be close or we might win. But my brain was telling me all week, this is just going to be an ugly game and we're just going to get beat down like we did in 2016 when the Dolphins played the Steelers. But they went out there and played really well and really honestly had a chance to win the game all the way to the end. And, ball bounces here, ball bounces there. We could have been the team that came out on top. So, I know there's no moral victories in, we all say in pro football, but this was somewhat of a positive after having such a long losing streak, then barely beating the Jets and having a hope on Buffalo to beat New England. And then to get into the playoffs and almost knock off that Buffalo team, I can't really complain. And I think it saved a lot of people's jobs and everything on the other side. So overall, I'm happy with the performance like you are.
Yeah, I was happy with the performance, but and I know Evan brought up the comment. We lost. I thought we won. Greer McD thought this was a successful season. In my book, it was a complete failure. It was not a successful season. We went 9-8. We lost 4 games straight. We beat the Jets, but then we lost in the wild card game. So this year was a complete failure. That's the way I see it. Because
no, I know I wanted a playoff win too. That's where
we got the same numbers as last year, 9-8.
Yeah.
What did we do any better? Nothing, really. Okay, nothing. Tua did the same thing he always does in December. Okay, we all know what that is. He gets hurt. Okay. God forbid he comes back and from the head injuries, because they are serious. I don't care what the doctors say that they don't think he's going to have another one. That's bull crap, if you ask me. Okay, but what do we do? What do we do to the O-line? Nothing really. It improved a little bit, but we had a bunch of injuries across the O-line. Armstead was injured. Okay, Tua's injured. Our defensive backfield was completely depleted. Our defense lost us a bunch of games, and they kept us in some games. So yes, I don't think it was a successful season. And what they're doing again, and what they're doing to Miami fans, and it's sad, is they're blowing smoke up your butt again.
No, I agree with you on the whole season part, but the first question was this past game. I thought they played better than.
So I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
for the game, yes. But for the season, of course, we're all disappointed because I wanted a playoff win. I expected more wins. And yes, playing the quarterback rotation killed us this year because we didn't have anyone step up once Tua went down. And I know we can debate on whether Tua's the guy or not either, but the one thing there's no debate on is that he gets injured too much. I agree with you 100% right there. But yeah, as far as this season, of course, I'm disappointed, and I would have loved like an 11-win season, or something like that, and have a secured spot in the playoff where you don't have to play Buffalo in the first freaking round. But that game, I was okay. But yeah, the season was kind of a disappointment and a letdown. And you can blame injuries, you can blame whatever, but it's still a letdown, no matter what you want to say why we got let down.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rob. Very good point. Let's go a little bit in the game, just a little bit, and let's talk about Skyler. Look, Skyler played like a 7th-round pick. He was a rookie. His 3rd game he's ever played in pro football. He's a 7th-round pick. That means 32 teams passed him up 7 times. 32 teams. So to think that he was going to go out there and win this game for us was asking a lot. I didn't expect that at all. I didn't expect them to play as well as they did either. But let's go over some of the play. The wide receivers definitely did not help this man out. They did not help Skylar Thompson out. There was 11 drops in that game. 11 drops from our wide receivers and tight ends. And
they definitely didn't help them. That's for sure.
Did not help them. Okay. And McDaniel did. And I think he relied too much on Skylar Thompson. He opened it up. Yes, he did open it up. And he did underthrow Waddle on a couple of passes and some other receivers as well. So he did do that. Okay, but there was 11 drops. No excuse for that. But he didn't read the defenses very well, and he didn't see the open guy a lot. He left a lot of meat on the bones. But was that because he was getting so much pressure and that he had to roll out of the pocket and go off script and create plays, or was it both? And what do the folks in the chat think? Do you think he was getting so much pressure that he had to go out of the pocket and he had to create plays? And when he did that, his wide receivers again, tight end, running backs did not help him out at all.
No, I know. Well, there's so many communication errors getting plays in on the last second, as I never heard Evan say that. Evan Posner never talks about the play getting in on the last second. But, I mean, that was a big issue, obviously. It was just, that's just like when you're a little kid, I'm screaming at the TV. My son's, get the damn ball off. It's just like, it gets so frustrating. And then that even puts more pressure on a rookie quarterback that's already like under intense pressure. Then you're having the play take forever. And then if the play does get in there, then maybe he's not comprehending it fast enough. And who knows? We don't know what's going on in the huddle. But, but it's just very frustrating when and it was a recurring thing. That's the one thing where I will pick on McDaniel, but I'm the one that's all season said I'm strongly behind McDaniel, and we were going to go with his rookie mistakes. But next year, I hope we get plays in a lot crisper and cleaner in a timely manner, so we can, not be so confused, because it gives the defense a great advantage when they know, like, we're going to jump because, it's going to either be a delay or a game, or we're going to get a great jump on the ball, and it's tough. So I blame a lot of that on the coaching staff. They almost needed to dumb it down, knowing they had a 7th-round draft pick. They had a whole bunch of different people on the offensive line. They could have changed things up to make it quicker to get the calls in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Rob. And you're right. It was a reoccurring thing, and this just didn't happen in this game. And we talked about this on this show and through the Fins Talk Network. Okay, the time management and that lack of discipline of Mike McDaniel cost us. It did cost us some games throughout the year.
No,
It
it
did.
did.
I'm
It's
not going to
very
say it cost us
frustrating.
this game, but it was very costly time that it did happen. But this
Yeah.
happened throughout the year. 18 games this happened in. Okay. Now we got to, this is, and Evan's right. Who's, and matter of fact, you can catch the Fins bandwagon after this show if you want to get a warm and fuzzy. But I don't know if he's going to give you a warm and fuzzy because he's really on the McDaniel train. So I agree with Evan on this. We're going to find out because he's not going anywhere. And I don't want him to go anywhere. I want to give him that chance. Okay.
No, you've been
I
on
like
that
McDaniel.
stick with him. Yes.
Yeah, I want to stick with him. But the bottom line is we're going to find out next year if he's an OC or if he's a head coach.
No, I know. I agree.
One question we're going to get answered. And it's going to be sooner than later.
No, there is. We're going to see. We're going to find out. And I'm going to let our great producer, Bobby, come in here in a minute because I'm being rude. My family's in there in Blaze Pizza, and I kind of ran out when I looked at the time. So my final thoughts was, yes, it was a disappointing game, but yet it's just typical Dolphins. It did enough to bring you back thinking, oh, they're close. And now next year we're all going to believe that, they might be closer. And it's just disappointing that we lost. Some of the things that we saw throughout the season, like the coach, not like we said a million times, not getting the plays in. Injuries killed, but everyone gets injuries. But when it's at the quarterback position, it's bad to have a rotation there. So that's rough. It looks like for the most part, the staff is going to be the same next year, other than maybe a few tweaks here in the next few days. I don't know. I'm not, Chris Greer's not calling me. Mike McDaniel's not calling me. So I can't, tell you guys. So we'll see. Hopefully, we run it back for the most part, and, we'll find out. And as far as mentioning, like I said, on the players, like someone said, until they sign to that 5-year option or give him an extension, talk is talk. But from how Greer was talking, and he's normally a man of his word, he didn't leave much wiggle room, because I would have thought he would, like I told you guys behind the scenes, he would have said, oh, as of this moment, he's our guy. But we always, look for other ways to improve our team. But he didn't even get it. He said he's our starter going forward next year. He was quick to say, oh, Gesicki's earned his way to free agency. Kristen Wilkins, he says he wants him long-term with the team. So the way they worded it made me kind of feel, but yes, things change, and he'll be able to wiggle his way out after the fact if we went and signed someone. Well, at the time, we didn't know he was going to become available, and you just got to take that opportunity when it becomes available, and we did it, so they're going to be careful to all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, guys, that's just me rambling on real quick because I've already left the wife, my son, and his girlfriend all in Blaze Pizza. So I'm going to go back in there. Fins up to all you guys. Go Dolphins. Bobby, you are more than readily to fill my shoes. So thank you, guys. Fins up. And Bobby, you can knock me off. I can't find the button here on my phone. So Rob, bye, guys. Fins
thanks,
up.
Rob.
Go Dolphins.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. All right, so here I am. Okay, there's Bobby.
Hey, I am.
This is different. All right. So what do you think about what we just talked about? Go ahead and elaborate on what we talked about there, Bobby. What do you think?
Which part would you like me to start on? Because I know you mentioned
let's talk about the time management with Mike McDaniel and the lack of discipline. And we had this issue all season long.
Yeah, I know what Sean Payton had talked about a little bit. I know Dan Orlowski has brought it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We can't get into Mike McDaniel's shoes about what exactly happened at the moment. He thought it was a first down. He's looking down at his play sheet, trying to make a play. That was I understand rookie mistakes, but this was a part of the issue to me with getting a first-time head coach, but also a coach who, and I don't want to go as far as to say he's Adam Gase, like our friend Evan has stated. I know Adam Gase is a bad word. I understand, but what Evan says, Adam Gase, it that kind of goes with that point, because as a head coach, you should be focused on what's going on in the field. You should be aware what down you're in, if it's 4th and 1 or 1st and 10. You thought it was 1st and 10 when it was 4th and 1, and you thought you had a little more time when you didn't. And that's why you called that run. And that's why when then you punted it, that was a bad mistake by your head coach. You're focused on making offensive play calls when you should be focusing on the game in itself. That's your job. You're the head coach. That's why when people say, oh, we need to hire an offensive coach. No, we need to hire a defensive coach. No, we need to hire a head football coach. And if that head coach is a first-time head coach and he's like, no, I want to run a football team, that's who I want. Mike McDaniel, obviously it looks like he's coming back next season.
Yeah, he is.
And that's fine.
He's
his team fought their ass off, this last game. And that is admirable against nobody was giving Miami a chance. No one was going to. Everybody picked Buffalo, which made sense. You can't go against them. Why would you pick Miami in this situation? You're without your first string quarterback. You're without your second string quarterback. You're going with your third string, 7th round pick quarterback. Who's going to pick you? But guess what Miami did? They were down 17-0 at one point. Then it was 17-3. Then 17-17, 20-17 before the half. Then come all the way back, take the lead in the third quarter. But of course, that part right there you're going to remember is what cost us the game was that you didn't know what down you were in. So it sucks. You can't, woulda, shoulda, coulda. He's coming back. It's now about what can we do this coming off season to improve upon that? How's our staff going to look, coaching staff, and then what's the roster going to look like, especially when you're about $15 million over the cap. So there's going to be a lot of work to be done. Chris Greer, who's obviously looks like he's coming back. There's a lot of work to be done with this roster.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100% on that, Bobby. Honestly, he looked like an offensive coordinator this year. He did not look like a head coach at all to me. So anyway, let's move on.
And let me just say that because that's a good point. Mm-hmm. When you see the offense make such a jump and you see him so involved with the offense, you could say that. He was more of an offensive coordinator. You saw the offense take his identity. He did become a prisoner of the offense in regards of the talent with Tyreek and Jalen, and that bit him in the butt again in this game. But where Flores is a defensive coach, but you couldn't say that he was a defensive coordinator. You knew he was the head coach because he was there involved on the offense, involved in the defense.
Yes, he was.
When there was a penalty, he was there going in people's faces. I want to say something about Skylar because I see Kenna in there. And
I saw that too.
And Kenna, I have to say, because Steve was brought it up earlier, the rookie mistakes. Skylar, for a 7th string quarterback, 7th round quarterback, 3rd string, playing in a game where he's not supposed to be playing, because you should have had Tua or Teddy, but neither are there because neither can stay healthy. You can't depend on that. He goes in there in a tough situation against Buffalo, a Super Bowl favorite, and plays like a rookie or not. Guess what? His star weapons did him no favors. How many balls did Jalen Waddle drop? How many balls did Jeff Wilson drop? How about Tyreek?
11 drops.
That's what I'm saying.
11 drops.
So he had some rookie mistakes, but I'm damn proud of Skylar Thompson. He showed that he could come in on games and be the starting backup. I know, I won't go far as starter, but he showed that he belongs in the NFL. He's shown that you could probably go into next season with him as your backup quarterback. So I'm not disappointed in Skylar. He's the backup. He's the 3rd string quarterback, 7th round pick who showed up and went. And with him at quarterback, the Dolphins had Buffalo, the Super Bowl favorites, top 5 in offense, top 5 in defense. They had them against the ropes until the final seconds. And Buffalo didn't beat Miami. Buffalo did not beat Miami. Miami beat Miami. They beat them with bonehead mistakes, penalty by Armstead, drops by Waddle, drops by Hill, coach mistake by not knowing what the hell a 1st down and a 4th down is. It wasn't Skylar Thompson. He played like he was supposed to play, and the defense did one hell of a great job. The defense stood up.
They did.
So sorry, I just want to bring up Skylar because I saw Skylar, what they were talking about Skylar in the comments there.
No,
Go
that's
ahead,
fine.
sir.
That's fine. I appreciate it. And I agree with you. You're 100%. I think Skylar would probably make a very good backup. And is he starter material? Like you said, no, he's not. I think he still has to develop. And I think he will with this coaching staff. And yeah, he'll make a great backup. So that's another point I wanted to make here, and that's about Tua, the elephant in the room. Now, a lot of you on this network know how I feel about Tua. Now, I don't like Tua. I mean, it's not that I don't like Tua. Okay, because as I said, and I've said it before, I was the one who was clapping when they got him. But we've got 3 years of a sample size of a guy who has missed 13 games in 3 years. He's missed 13 games in 3 years, so he can't stay on the field, and he can't win big games. And I will say one thing about him. He can play really good football against bad teams. So I don't see him as a franchise quarterback. I've had 3 years of watching him play, okay? And all you fans on here who think that he should be our starting quarterback, please don't take my word for it. Do your research. Look at his injury history. Go back and see the games that he's played 3 years back. I mean, what more evidence do you need?
Yeah. Let me say, you said 13 games. You want how many games did Tua play this season?
13
games. How many games did he play last season?
13.
13 games. How many games are in a season? A regular season?
17.
Yeah, 18 weeks, but 17 games in there, right, with the bye week. Then, of course,
That's right.
The playoff, the most important game in the season that you're supposed to be there. You weren't there.
Yeah.
That's what made that. You see, starting quarterback, Tua is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I agree. He is a starting quarterback.
Yes,
he is a starting quarterback.
What stops him from being a franchise quarterback? His availability. His durability.
Absolutely.
And so he answered a lot of questions this season in regards of play. He played very well, with the weapons and the offense that he had. He showed that he could be a successful starting quarterback in this league. At one point, people were calling him an MVP candidate, 8-3 record, but like you said, it was, it started with the Houston defense. It wasn't until San Francisco against that number one defense where they started going on that losing streak. It's really easy going against top 20 defenses and winning, but then when you start, people want to talk about their winning record. What's the record in December? What's the record when the weather is under 20, under 30? And then when it's time to play those important games, like the Jets in week 18 or the Buffalo Bills in the wild card, and you're not there when it matters, that's what makes you, yes, you are if the Dolphins go in with Tua as the starting quarterback next year, the record should be good when you're playing the weaker teams. Yes, you have a very good starting quarterback in the NFL. There is no arguing that anymore. But don't say, in my opinion, he cannot be the franchise guy, because to be the franchise guy, you have to be available. You can't play only 13 games every year you've played.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, and JM Santos asked the question, who do you replace him with? And that's the problem. Who do you replace him with? That's the reason why he's coming back. Okay. So he's cheap. He's cheap. He's still playing on a rookie contract. But here's the problem with that. Okay.
That's the benefit. Yep.
That's the benefit. But here's the problem that I see coming up next year. I don't know if you've seen the teams we got to play next year. Pretty tough schedule. Yep. I already predicted we're going to go 9-8 again. Already. Now, and that's what I see now. Things can change throughout the year. I see 9-8. Okay. He goes into games. He's playing in the games. He gets knocked down and he's slow to get up. Guess what? They're going to pull him out of the game. And it's just a fact, folks. I'm sorry to say it, but the NFL has an eye on our team because of Tua's concussions and what happened on nationalized television in Cincinnati. So they're all eyes are on Tua. That's just the reality of it. If he goes down and he gets slow to get up, guess what? He's going to call him out of the game. They're going to call him out of the game. And whoever the replacement is or a backup is, Skyler or whoever they may get in the offseason, because I don't know who they're going to get, that they're not going to get him for cheap because there's not a lot of available backup quarterbacks there, that are just backups. There's some that have potential to be starters. So you're going to have to pay them more than a backup. So that's the dilemma that Chris Grier has put us in by bringing back Tua. The benefit is he's cheap, but the bad thing is he's going to go down. He's going to miss 3 or 4 games, maybe more. And guess what? If he gets another concussion, he's not going to go down for 2 or 3 games. He may be out for 4 or 5 or 6 games. And Minshew, you mentioned Minshew. Who mentioned that? J.M. Santos, I'm sorry. Minshew. Guess what? He's not going to come here as a backup. He wants to be a starter. He's going to come here to compete and be a starter. And you're not going to pay him backup money. That's just my opinion.
Just say, in regard to the Tua, what Grier has stated, Adam Schefter came out the morning of the Buffalo game and saying that the Dolphins are expected, that Tua is expected to be back as starter next year, quote unquote, right. Expected. I can't, Grier and McDaniel are not going to say, hey, we don't feel comfortable with this guy being our starter next year. Hey, he may not be our starter next year. They're going to tell you. They're going to say all the right things. They got to protect themselves, and they got to protect Tua's feelings. They're not going to say, we might not. They're going to say, hey, look, he's expected to be our starter next year. There's not going to be any ifs and buts. But if an opportunity presents themselves that they could get another type of starting quarterback, because Tua is very cheap, the contract works, that they could get a starting quarterback, they're going to do it. I believe they will. I'm not going to name names. There's plenty of names out there. We've talked about them, and I'll wait till the offseason.
Yeah, there's some.
But right now, the Dolphins are at $15 million over the cap. So it's like, what money are we going to use? Miami could restructure. Actually, Miami Herald brought it up. Barry Jackson. You could go on Spotrac.com, look at Miami's roster, look at their cap space. That could easily become from negative 15 to $40 million in cap space. You could play with that money on that roster. So if Miami goes into next season with Tua at quarterback, it's not the end of the world. He's proven he could be a very good starting quarterback in this league. But hellfire and brimstone if he gets hurt. That's the problem. I think Miami's going to do their due diligence. If you believe every word football teams or professional teams say, it's going to be a long off season for you.
Oh, I agree. And just like I said earlier on the show, I said it's probably just smoke and mirrors, and they're blowing smoke up our butts again. But anyway, I agree with you, Bobby. Folks, again, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you. We love you guys. We like you to make all the comments in the chat. And I'm going to try to do my diligence to answer more throughout the year, because we will be continuing the program during the off season. But please, guys, ladies, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors. We got a growing network here, a great community, great team. And we're here for you guys, the Dolphin community, and we appreciate you as well.
Absolutely.
Did you have anything last to say, comments to say, Bobby?
No, sir. You said it all. It's perfect, guys. This Real Talk Fitz Talk with the one and only Steve Malloy and Bobby Finstock, Golden Hawks from Miami Springs Senior High. Love it that we got this to do the second half of the show together. Don't leave. Keep on the channel. Go jump on Finn's bandwagon. Catch Evan Posner and Fish Tank Hank. Hopefully Hank could make Evan feel just a little better about the Dolphins and Coach McDaniel. So like, subscribe,
Appreciate it.
and fins up, and get your regular giveaway.
Dolphins number 1, baby. Dolphins number 1.
Fins up, everybody.